So we're Thursday, the 7th of January, and here we are at Chateau Tessier with Neil White, who just got a haircut, for the first, I'd say, official tasting of our wines post-malolactic fermentation. So we're going to give them a go and provide some comments. We've just poured all the wines, and this is just to kind of give you an idea of what it looks like. You really can't get a sense of the changes in color from one to the next because we just don't have enough luminosity, but we'll comment on them as we go along. So I'm here with Neil White, Chief Winemaker at Chateau Tessier, and we've just gone through the flight of free-run and pressed wines for all of the wines that we've produced at Crushpad. Neil, just wanted your comments on your overall view of the tasting that we've just completed.
Well, I'm very, very happy with the wines in general. It's always nice to taste finished wines. We have always have a very good idea of what's happening during vinification, but it's always good to have a confirmation. They've all finished. So
when you say finished, finished their mallows and
sugars finished, mallows finished. There've been some they've had time to settle down. You can see that the samples we pulled off are nice, good limpidity.
It was obvious when we tasted them. Yeah,
indeed. Which we expect. And we're starting to starting to taste a finished wine, and it's always a pleasure. A question that was asked recently, there seems to be some concern about it tasting like 2003 because the degrees are very high. What we've just confirmed here is that we don't have the cooked fruit of 2003. We have, despite high degrees, we have a balanced wine with a lot of fresh fruit, which is a pleasure, which makes the wines very pleasant.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So, yes, I'm very happy with the way things are developing.
And how do you feel that they're an expression of 2005? And how do you feel that they're an expression of 2005 beyond the freshness itself, which was a pleasant surprise to me because I was expecting a little bit of jamminess to a certain extent from some of the wines at first.
2005, I think it'll be fresher than 2005. I think it has the structure, has the weight, has the balance, but I think we would have a bit more jam, if you like, in the 2005s than in the 2009. I think also it's a tendency, not that we can do necessarily much about it, but I think it's also a tendency to move more into the fruit and a fresher sort of fruit than the actual jam style, and well, it's certainly what we have here.
And you and I both went through each of them and took our notes, but I'll kind of ask you just very quickly questions on each of them just so that you can give me your, I'd say, 2 key points or 1 or 2 key points on each wine. So if we hit the Pays Le Brie, the Merlot from Fronsac.
I found lovely fruit expression, black fruit, a touch of vanilla, which is obviously from the oak. The oak is integrating nicely. What impressed me with this one is the smoothness. It's very balanced, and the tannins are nice and soft already, and it's almost ready to drink already, which is nice, very pleasant.
Don't tell my clients that. They might expect deliveries next week. They still need to name their wine. So, okay, no, but I agree. No, I completely agree. In fact, it was surprising to me with the Pays Le Brie because I was expecting that from a much more minerally terroir that it would be a bit more intellectual to drink it first. But in fact, on the contrary, it's very, very accessible at this stage.
Yep.
Le Ruisseau.
Le Ruisseau, similar in profile, maybe not quite as soft on the tannins, certainly towards the finish a wee bit more edge to tannins, which you would expect. But again, good fruit expression, a nice touch of oak.
Bit of caramel, if I recall.
A touch of caramel, I was trying to read the word. Yep, that's right. So, again, a nice one.
Yeah.
The Grand Monté was just a little bit cold to start with, but then we found in the second coming back to it a bit later, we've got quite a lot of sweet black fruit.
The expressiveness on the nose really exploded when we tasted it again. Again, we pulled the samples a little.
Yeah, an awful lot, and again hints of vanilla from the oak. I found on the palate tannins just a little bit more massive, a bit even less rounded at the present, which is what I would expect at this stage.
Is that something that's typically a characteristic of the wines that you end up producing?
Very much so.
Bearing in mind, for those that are listening, that the Grand Pontet is a vineyard that belongs to Chateau Tessier, so Neil knows that wine intimately.
It's fantastically placed. It's right up at the top of Saint-Emilion. It's right on top of the plateau, so excellent.
The Cabernet Franc from La Brie.
Cabernet Franc from La Brie, again, slightly subdued on the nose. It picked up again a little later once it warmed up a bit. A lot of fresh fruit, which is what we like about the Cabernet Franc, and it's what we look to Cabernet Franc for. The palate, again, round tannins, but fairly well structured as well. Not as round as the Pinot Gris. It's brother.
But it is a Cabernet Franc. And in
but
fact,
it is a Cabernet Franc and had a good length to it, and I think that will provide good lift on the finish, which is again what we look for.
Exactly. It seemed like a very good compliment as we went through this first tasting to the Merlots or other blends that we'll put together. There is another Cabernet Franc from Terre d'Auguay that we have not tasted today, but that we'll taste at a later stage. Then we move to the Cabernet Sauvignons. The Cabernet Franc, a superstar, did very well.
Yes, really nice, and I found very pleasantly surprised to find it so expressive, so fruity, so young. Again, a touch of oak, but a good intensity to the fruit, red berries. On the palate, I found the quality of the tannins really good, nicely balanced, and again with a good length. A slight touch of dryness in the finish, but again to be expected at this stage.
Yeah. Arsac in Margaux.
Arsac is, where's my notes? A very toasty, smoky nose, which must come from the barrels, I would imagine. And then, again, red berry fruit, quite fresh. On the palate, again, the first impression is obviously the fruit coming through, relatively good balance, and again, a bit of a bitterness on the finish, which again, it's Cabernet Sauvignon, it's early days yet, and that's what aging's for.
Great. And the press wines overall, I think we had two very, very pleasant experiences.
Both Merlot press were absolutely fantastic. Really, you would have been hard pushed, apart from tannins on the finish, to say there were press wines. Nose is good, nice fruit, and very rich, fleshy tannins.
So they're going to make a very good complement to...
be very useful for blending. And the Cabernet is not too bad either. The Arsac press is sort of more what you would expect from a press at this stage. And the Cabernet press was a good press.
Yeah, bearing in mind that these are Cabernet Sauvignon, so there's typically going to be more harshness out of them as well than what you'll find out of a press from Merlot.
Yeah.
Neil, that was a fantastic summary. I really appreciate the experience.
Okay, pleasure.
Talk to you soon.